Zhou Zhou opened the Lord of all races' treasure chest. There was a sword quietly placed inside. This sword was completely black, and there were stars faintly visible on the sword. It was as if every star was a world, and the hilt was engraved with dense law engravings. Zhou Zhou looked over and realized that it was the nomological engraving of Ilord's law. He clicked his tongue in wonder. Then, he picked it up and looked at it. The text notification appeared. Name of the divine artifact, Supreme. Holy Sword. Grade of divine artifact. Grade 3 Supreme divine artifact. Exclusive. Divine artifact Law 1. Commanding the heavens. The Supreme Holy Sword is the symbol of supreme authority. Only living beings recognized by the supreme will and given the Lord of all races reserve army destiny can have this sword. Those who have this sword can control a quarter of the supreme great cosmos and make a quarter of the supreme great cosmos your temporary territory. The living beings in this quarter of the supreme great cosmos must listen to most of your orders. Divine Artifact Law 2. Supreme Luck. Possessing the Supreme Holy Sword also means that you are blessed as the fate of the Supreme Lord Reserve Army. You will be able to turn misfortune into good fortune and turn disaster into blessing. Divine Artifact Law 3. Supreme Heart. Your physique, soul, and will be more compatible with the Lord's law. The comprehension of the Lord's law will increase by 20 times. Divine Artifact Law 4. Supreme Blessing. When the Lord of all races is in danger, it can actively summon the full strength attack of the Supreme Will. However, after using it, the user will default to giving up the power and status of the Lord of all races. Prompt. The soul has been forcibly recognized as its master and cannot be removed. After reading it, Zhou Zhou couldn't help but hold his breath. He looked at the first divine artifact law, commanding the heavens. He could control a quarter of the supreme great cosmos and make a quarter of it his temporary territory. Even though it was only a temporary territory, it was still quite heaven-defying. The other 3 divine artifact laws were also quite powerful. There was naturally no need to mention the supreme luck. The supreme heart could allow him to better comprehend the Lord's laws. Even though supreme blessing could summon the full power attack of the supreme will to protect him after using it, he would lose the qualifications to be the Lord of all races reserve army. Zhou Zhou naturally would not use this move unless he was in a desperate situation. He guessed that this supreme blessing was not only a self-protection ability given to the Lord of all races by the supreme will, but also a warning to the other lords of all races. It was fine for the two of them to compete for the qualifications to be the Lord of all races reserve force, but they could not force the other party into a dead end. Otherwise, if the other party used the Supreme Will's full strength in the end, no one would feel good. The Supreme Will regarded the 4 lords of all races as talents. It only wanted them to compete among themselves, but it did not want them to kill each other internally. Even if he could not become the Lord of all races in the end, as long as he survived, he could still be a good subordinate after all. As expected of the exclusive divine artifact of the Lord of all races reserve army. This can also be considered the first supreme divine artifact in my possession. Zhou Zhou sighed. Then, he put it away. He had quite a few trump cards in his hands, so he didn't need this supreme divine artifact for the time being. Zhou Zhou suddenly thought of something and opened his other title information. It was the title information of the title of the Lord of the Race. A smile appeared on his face after he took a look. Sure enough, they're all unlocked. He smiled and muttered to himself. Title name: Lord of the Race. Title grade: Unique. Title effect 1: Commanding all life. You are the Lord of the Race. You have obtained the fate level of Lord of the Race. You can give orders to any existence in your race. Your subjects will accept it without conditions and carry it out firmly even if this order goes against the laws of humanity. Title effect 2: Race Conqueror. The offensive strength of you and the soldiers of your race will increase by 100% when you lead your race to conquer other races. Title effect 3: Race Conqueror 2. Your and your race's soldiers' physical defense and recovery ability plus 100% when you lead your race to conquer other races. Title effect 4: Race Conqueror 3. You and the soldiers of your race have obtained the talent of War Might. In war, there is a small chance of triggering War Might. causing the enemy to be frightened, afraid, stiff, and surrender without fighting. Title Effect 4. Supreme Race. When you and the soldiers of your race fight against other races. If your race's bloodline level is higher than the enemy's, the enemy will be suppressed by 10%. If your race's bloodline level is lower than the enemy's, you and the soldiers of your race will not be negatively affected by the enemy's bloodline. Title Description. A title that can only be obtained by the Lord of the Races who wins first place in the Lord of the Race event. The person with this title is the Lord of the Race. Not bad. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. By the way, have the effects of the title of Lord of the Races of the other lords of the myriad races who ended their activities in advance been unlocked? He suddenly thought of this and asked curiously. In the next second, a line of text appeared. Supreme, will notification. All lords of the myriad races who ended the activity of the Lord of the Race early will retain the title of the Lord of the Race, but only the first title effect. The other title effects have all disappeared. Zhou Zhou nodded after reading it. Then, he laughed. With the title of the Lord of the Races, the difference in combat power between he and the other races would widen again. Then, he closed the title interface of the Lord of the Race and took out a corpse. This corpse was none other than the corpse of the Master God tier of the Chi race that Onion had killed on the cerulean planet today. As for his brother's corpse, it naturally disappeared with his self-destruction. What was worth mentioning was that after the Lord of all Races event ended, the active universe officially closed. The various race lord factions in the active universe and their racial teritones had also returned to their original positions in the supreme great cosmos. The cerulean planet was no exception. Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu had already returned to the supreme continent and were currently recuperating. In addition, the function of the Gate of Summoning to connect the High Continent and cerulean planet was preserved. Now, all the lords of the myriad races could return to their race's territory through the Gate of Summoning, and they were no longer restricted by the transfer of supplies and troops. Speaking of which, Zhou Zhou looked at the corpse in front of him. A text notification appeared. Item name. Chi Race Master God Tier. West Rogers Corpse. Item level. Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Item effect. Contains unextracted loots. Item description. One of the 12 Master Gods of the Chi race. At the same time, he was also the Deputy Patriarch of the Chi race. He died in the battle against Common People's Regal. Loot's drop rate. 600 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals. Drop rate. 100%. 1 Master God Advance. Grade Bloodline. Chi Race Bloodline. Drop rate. 10%. 1 Master God Advanced Race Skill Book. Origin Chi. Drop rate. 5%. 1 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Racial Talent Ball. Drop rate. 3%. 1 Master God Tier Elementary Grade Divine Artifact. 7. Stars Rui Tussle. Drop rate. 1%. 1 Master God Tier Intermediate Grade Divine Artifact. 10,000 Primordial Spirit Armor. Drop rate. 1%. 1 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Book of the God Spirit. Drop rate. 0. 5%. 1 Will Like Light Realm Book Method of Concentrating the Will of the Chi Race. Drop rate. 0.1%. 1 Master God Tier Advanced Grade Willpower Skill Dash Chi Realm. Drop rate. 0.1%. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. He had 2 Master God Tier Divine Artifacts, as expected of the top Master God of the Chi race, not to mention his Master God Tier treasures, such as the Book of the God Spirit, Will Condensation Technique, and Master God Tier Inheritances. This is the most important part. Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and chanted in his heart to activate the Heavenly Fate Di Huang's explosive ability and the additional loot's ability of the Lucky Star. In the next second, a text notification appeared. Lord Talent Notification. Your spoils of war have been enhanced by Heavenly Fate Di Huang. Perfect loots. Quality +1. Lord Talent Notification. Your spoils of war have been strengthened by Heavenly Fate Di Huang. The number of loots increased by 1,000%. Title hint. Your spoils of war have been affected by the titles of Strongest Lord of All Races and Strongest Lord of All Races. Number of loots plus 150%. Title hint. Your spoils of war have been affected by the title of King of 10,000 Kings. The number of loots increased by 100%. Lord Talent notification. You have obtained perfect loots, 21,000 divine crystals. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. 40 Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm Bloodlines. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. 40 Race Skill Books. Heavenly Energy. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. 40 Race Talent Spheres. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. 40. Divine Artifacts. Heavenly Seal. Grade 1 Supreme God Realm. 40 Divine Artifacts. Heavenly Wall Divine Armor. Grade 2 Supreme God Realm. 1 Book of the God Spirit. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. 1 Will Divine Transformation Realm. Heavenly Blade Will Condensation Technique. 40 Willpower Skills. Million Blades. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Lucky Star Hint. You have obtained a special loot. Puppet of the Supreme God of Heavenly Blade. Grade 3 Supreme God. After Zhou Zhou looked at the loots, he couldn't help but take a deep breath and smile. It's an explosive effect. It's comparable to, or even surpassed, all my gains from the mysterious auction. It's really amazing. Ha ha ha. Zhou Zhou could not help but laugh. Anyone who saw so many loots would probably laugh proudly. Even a Supreme God Realm expert should be smiling at this moment. There were so many top Supreme God Realm loots after all. If a Supreme God Realm came and saw so many top-grade treasures, they would probably be shocked. After a while, Zhou Zhou gradually calmed down and began to check the loots one by one. The first was naturally these 21,000 Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Divine Crystals. 21,000 Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Divine Crystals is equivalent to 210 million Master God Tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals. Not bad, not bad. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Back when he participated in the mysterious auction, if he had so many Supreme God Realm Divine Crystals, he would probably be able to buy most Supreme God Realm Divine Artifacts. Unfortunately, he didn't, but it didn't matter. His subordinates could casually kill a Master God Tiered. If there was another mysterious auction, he could sweep through most of the auction items. That's almost half of what I have. This is the Heavenly Fate Di Huang that gives a lot of loots. Choosing to upgrade it was indeed the right choice. Zhou Zhou was even more glad that he had chosen to upgrade the King of Loots to a Supreme God Realm talent. This return was simply too shocking. Then, he looked at the second loots. There were a total of 40 portions of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm Bloodline. He looked over and a text notification appeared. Bloodline name. Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm Bloodline. Bloodline level. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Bloodline. Effect. After absorbing it, the user can obtain the bloodline of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. After fusing with this bloodline, the user will gradually awaken the bloodline ability of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm during the growth process. Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. It's actually the bloodline of this Supreme God Realm expert. Zhou Zhou stroked his chin and recalled the bloodline memories of this Supreme God Realm expert. Even though this Supreme God Realm expert was only a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm expert, he was not the top Grade 4 Supreme God Realm expert. However, he had unparalleled offensive power since he walked the path of the Law of Sword. Therefore, if he went all out, even a Grade 4 Supreme God Realm would have a chance of defeating this Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. Only the 4 Supreme God Realms could steadily defeat the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. There were only about 10,000 Supreme God Realm God Spirits in the entire Supreme world. Among the tens of thousands of Supreme God Realms, only the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm used the Saber Dao as its Supreme God Realm path that it could be said that in the myriad worlds, in terms of attainments in the Saber Dao, the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm was the #1 God among Supreme God Realms. Unfortunately, it's not the inheritance of the Heaven Sword Supreme God Realm. If only it was the Supreme God Realm inheritance of the Sword Dao. Zhou Zhou thought greedily. Even though he had also dabbled in the laws of swords, in terms of height, he was still inferior to the more familiar Sword Dao. However, he smiled and shook his head that it was good enough to have a choice, yet he was actually so picky. Then, he didn't hesitate and chose to absorb it. Soon, a text notification appeared. You have absorbed 1 portion of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm Bloodline. Third Order Supreme God Realm. Your Chaos human bloodline has been unearthed with even more potential. Your Chaos human bloodline has unearthed more potential and advanced to the true God tier intermediate grade bloodline. Your Chaos human bloodline has unearthed more potential and advanced to the Master God tier intermediate grade bloodline. Your Chaos human bloodline has unearthed more potential and advanced to the Master God tier advanced grade bloodline. Your sixth senses powers have been greatly enhanced. Your Chaos sacred body constitution has been greatly enhanced. You have awakened the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Chaos human race talent. Daoslang Divine Saber. You have awakened the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Chaos human race talent. Chaotic Blade Chi. You have awakened a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Chaos human race talent. Heavens will like a knife. You have awakened the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Chaos human race racial skill. Escape Realm 9 Blades. You have awakened the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm talent. Limitless Heavenly Blade. You have awakened the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm talent. Heart of Annihilation. You have awakened the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Enhanceable Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm talent. Jedi Blade. You have grasped the inheritance of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. You have mastered the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Skill. Immeasurable Saber Light. You have grasped the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm skill. Saber/Willpower. You have mastered the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm skill. Heaven Destroying Tao. You have mastered the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm skill. Supreme God Realm Physical Immunity. Awakening level 10%. You have mastered the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm skill. Supreme God Realm Elemental Immunity. Awakening rate 10%. You have mastered the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm skill. Supreme God Realm Soul Immunity. Awakening rate 10%. You have mastered the will-like light of the Heavenly Blade. You have grasped the will of the Heavenly Blade. Will Divine Transformation Realm. Boom! Zhou Zhou closed his eyes. His will transformed and became boundless. After an unknown period of time, Zhou Zhou opened his eyes. Then, he instantly felt that the world in front of him had changed. If the essence of the previous world was a law, and he was a part of the world, in terms of status, he was inferior to the supreme world that had given birth to he and raised him. Now, he felt that he seemed to be of the same level as the world. No, it might even surpass it. He now felt that he could use his willpower and a single thought to modify the laws around him and do something rather unbelievable. Modify reality, travel through time and space, make falsehoods come true. He could do all of this without relying on his comprehension of Lord's law and his own divine power. He could do all of this with just a thought if he took another step forward. He could even completely break free from the restraints of laws and reach a supreme realm that transcended laws. However, that realm was too far away from Zhou Zhou, so he did not think too much about it. He was now focused on sensing the changes brought to him by the new realm of will. Is this the will divine transformation realm? Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. Then, a smile appeared on his face. Normally speaking, the will divine transformation realm was a realm that only top master god tier and supreme god realm experts could reach, and his current true realm was only at true god tier intermediate grade. He wasn't even a master god, yet he had already comprehended this realm. This could be said to be earth-shattering.it also meant that, in the future, he would only be able to reach the supreme god realm without much setbacks. All that accumulation, all the adventures, finally, the fruit of will has been born at this moment. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. With the will divine transformation realm, he would have a certain level of self-preservation even if he faced supreme god realm existences in the future. Only then did he have the mood to look at the other notifications regarding the fusion of bloodlines. Then, he couldn't help but raise his brows. There was a look of surprise in his eyes. Then, he was overjoyed. My chaos human bloodline has finally broken through the bottleneck and broken through to the true gods. Furthermore, He advanced 6 levels in a row and directly advanced from a high-tier deity-level advanced grade to a master god-tier advanced grade. Ha ha! Zhou Zhou could not help but laugh heartily. The inability to improve the chaos human bloodline had always been a sore point in his heart. Even if he said that he didn't care on the surface, how could he really not care? The chaos humans had been following him ever since he passed the novice lord test after all. Furthermore, they had provided he with great help as he grew up. Even after he obtained the supreme sacred body, he still couldn't forget the chaos human bloodline. However, due to the unknown bottleneck of advancement, he had been stuck at the high-tier deity-level advanced grade chaos human bloodline and could not advance. He finally broke through this bloodline bottleneck and improved the chaos human bloodline again with the help of this grade 3 supreme god realm bloodline. I don't care what the conditions are for my bloodline to advance, I'll do it even if I have to kneel in front of a supreme god realm bloodline. Zhou Zhou grinned. If even the grade 3 supreme god realm bloodline could not break through the bottleneck of the high-tier deity-level advanced grade chaos human bloodline, then he could only admit defeat. Fortunately, this supreme god realm bloodline was powerful enough. Then he began to carefully examine the racial skills and racial talents that he had awakened after absorbing the supreme god realm bloodline. After reading all of them, he couldn't help but click his tongue as expected of the bloodline inheritance of the heavenly blade supreme god realm with unparalleled offensive power. Almost all of his abilities were offensive. His had no defensive methods at all. He looked at it carefully for a while before looking at the 4.0 grade 3 supreme god realm racial skill books. Heaven Origin Chi. The Heaven Origin Chi of the heavens was a type of origin chi, as the name suggested. It was an all-purpose energy that could be augmented by almost any method. If it was added to the attack method would become even sharper and stronger. With the augmentation of the defensive means would become even more indestructible. With the augmentation of the secret technique, the effect of the secret technique would be greatly enhanced. After the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm comprehended this omnipotent power, his attack also advanced to a higher level. Zhou Zhou, this Heaven Origin Chi could also strengthen his Lord's nomological techniques. Even though it did not strengthen him much, it could still increase his combat strength by 10% to 20% at his level. 10% to 20% of his combat strength was already an astonishing increase. Then, he looked at the 40 grade 3 Supreme God Realm Race Talent Spheres. He took out one of the choices to absorb it. Then, instead of awakening a new racial talent, he strengthened the grade 3 Supreme God Realm racial talent that he had just awakened through his bloodline, Limitless Heavenly Blade. Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before his expression returned to normal. That it was very normal for the ability of Bloodline Awakening to overlap with the ability that it had dropped. They were all spoils of war from the same immortal's corpse after all. He had encountered similar situations in the past, so he wasn't too surprised that in addition, it was not without gains. The Limitless Heavenly Blade was one of the most commonly used moves of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. Now that it had been strengthened, he felt that his comprehension of this move had already reached a level infinitely close to the Supreme God Realm. This could also be one of his trump cards. Then, he looked at one of the only 2 supreme divine artifacts, Great Heaven Seal. The Great Heaven Seal was only the size of a palm, and its entire body was the color of blood jade. There were 9 dragons surrounding him, but the seal was surrounded by demons and ghosts. It looked very dignified, and it had the divine intent to suppress demons in all directions. Divine Artifact Name, Great Heaven Seal. Divine Artifact Grade, Grade 1 Supreme Divine Artifact. Divine Artifact Law 1, Great Heaven Seal. The Great Heaven Seal contains supreme and holy power. It can seal all living beings in the myriad worlds. All life forms below the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm can be sealed by the Great Heaven Seal. The length of the seal depends on the strength of the owner and the strength of the enemy. Divine Artifact Law 2, Great Heaven Evil Refinement. The Great Heaven Seal contains supreme holy power. It can refine living beings and things with evil attributes sealed in the Great Heaven Seal. It can remove their evilness and restore their clarity. At the same time, with every evil life form and thing refined, the great heaven seal itself will be strengthened. After refining a large number of evil life forms and things, the quality of the great heaven seal will increase. Divine Artifact Law 3, Great Heaven Suppression. The Great Heaven Seal is extremely powerful. It can suppress life forms below Grade 1 Supreme God Realm, causing them to be suppressed for a short period of time and unable to unleash part or even all of their strength and effects. The suppression effect depends on the strength of the owner and the strength of the suppressor. Divine Artifact Law 4, Power of Heaven. The Great Heaven Seal is a sacred artifact that is a combination of the Lord Law of Sealing, Lord Law of Evil Refinement, and Lord Law of Suppression. The owner's willpower can enter it and comprehend the mysteries of the laws and willpower within. Prompt: requires willpower to recognize a master. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up after reading it. This was actually an extremely rare seal-type Supreme Divine Artifact. Sealing and suppressing Supreme Divine Artifacts were different from offensive Divine Artifacts and defensive Divine Artifacts. He could at most suppress, control, and seal the enemy, but he couldn't directly injure the enemy. Or even if he did injure the enemy, he wouldn't cause much damage. However, in contrast, the upper limit of sealing Supreme God Realm artifacts was very high. Just like this Great Heaven Seal, he was clearly only a Grade 1 Supreme Divine Artifact. However, it could seal life forms and things below Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. This far exceeded his grade. However, it could do it, and there was something else that tempted him. The Great Heaven Seal actually contained the laws of the Sealed Lord, the Lord of Evil Refinement, and the Lord of Suppression. If he studied it well, it was very likely that he would be able to comprehend 3 completely different Lord Law skills. What a good divine artifact. Just what I need. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. He was very satisfied. Then, Zhou Zhou put away all 40 Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Divine Artifacts. The Great Heaven Seal. Unfortunately, only he could rely on the uniqueness of the chaotic sacred power to forcefully use this Grade 1 Supreme God Realm Divine Artifact, the Great Heaven Seal, in his current territory. Otherwise, if a total of 40 Supreme Divine Artifacts could be used at the same time, even powerful Supreme God Realm forces would have to lower their heads in front of him. Fortunately, my Chaos Human Bloodline advanced from High-Tier Deity level to Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Otherwise, with the bloodline of the High-Tier Deity level Advanced Grade Chaotic Human Race, even if the chaotic sacred power is special, I'm afraid it can't support me to use a Supreme Divine Artifact that is 2 levels higher than me. Zhou Zhou secretly rejoiced. He could only say that the breakthrough of the Chaos Human Race bloodline this time came at the right time. Then, he looked at the 40 silver-white holy armors that were engraved with the scene of the vast firmament. Grade 2 Supreme Divine Artifact Heavenly Wall Divine Armor. Information about the Divine Artifact appeared. Name of the Divine Artifact: Heavenly Wall Sacred Armor. Divine Artifact Grade: Level 3 Supreme Divine Artifact. Divine Artifact. Law 1, Heavenly Wall Divine Defense. The Heavenly Wall Divine Armor is one of the top 3 defensive Supreme Divine Artifacts among the Grade 2 Supreme Divine Artifacts. It can block most Grade 2 Supreme God Realm and below Supreme God Realm nomological attacks, Divine Soul attacks, and will attacks. It can also defend against attacks above Grade 2 Supreme God Realm by 10% to 50% defense effects. Divine Artifact Law 2, Sacred Wall Counterattack. When the attacks from the outside world, spiritual attacks, and will attacks land on the Sky Wall Sacred Armor, the Sky Wall Sacred Armor can reflect 10% to 90% of the attacks it receives on the enemy's body. The probability of the rebound depends on the enemy's strength. The lower the enemy's strength, the higher the probability of the rebound. If not, the lower the rebound. Divine Artifact Law 3, Sacred Defense Technique. When the user activates the Sacred Defense Technique, when the soldiers under the user fight the enemy's attacks will be reduced by 5% when they land on their own soldiers. Divine Artifact Law 4, Power of the Heavenly Wall. The Heavenly Wall Sacred Armor is a sacred artifact that is a combination of the Lord Law of Defensive Lords, Lord Law of Counterattack Lords, and Lord Law of weakening lords. The owners. Willpower can enter it and comprehend the mysteries of the laws and willpower within. Prompt. Requires willpower to recognize a master. This sky wall sacred armor came at the right time. Zhou Zhou looked at this grade 2 supreme divine artifact and nodded in satisfaction. He was basically invincible among the master god tier. What he feared now was only the supreme god realm and stronger willpower level existences. That will level existences were truly high and mighty existences. Generally, they would not easily attack that in fact, the supreme god realm could not make a move easily before. But now that the Lord of AU race's competition was over, the Supreme Will's restriction on the Supreme God Realm's existence was naturally lifted. Therefore, he now had to consider guarding against the Supreme God Realm's attack on him. That most importantly, Supreme God Realm existences participate in the ultimate void battleground. With this sky wall sacred armor, I'll be much safer in the ultimate void battlefield. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. Then, he swept past the other true God tier and master God tier loots and directly looked at the grade 3 Supreme God Realm Book of the God Spirit. Treasure name. Book of the God Spirit. Treasure. Grade. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Treasure effect. A mythical tier book that records the path of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. After using it, one can walk the path of becoming the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. Treasure description. The inheritance book of the Supreme God Realm Spirit. After using it, you can walk on a peak path that leads to the end of the God Spirit. It's indeed the book of divinity of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, he shook his head. As the last stop on the path of a God Spirit, it was extremely difficult for a Supreme God Realm to become a Supreme God Realm expert. Even if he had the book of the God Spirit, he might not necessarily be able to imitate the path of the book of the God Spirit and become a Supreme God Realm at the later grades of the Will Realm. Every Will Realm expert would be a unique existence. Even if he had a 1:1 copy of the Willpower Realm inheritance, it was impossible for two identical Willpower Realm existences to be BOM.at that level. The Willpower Realm inheritance could only be used as a reference. It could not be regarded as a Bible that had to be followed. Otherwise, it was impossible for living beings who had the inheritance of the Willpower Realm to reach the Willpower Realm. Of course, this did not mean that the value of the Willpower Realm inheritance was not high. On the contrary, every inheritance of a Will Realm existence was extremely valuable. Even the Supreme Will valued the inheritance of a Will level existence. Even if it could only be used as a reference after all. It was enough to be said to be priceless. However, Zhou Zhou was a God Spirit who had long understood his own path. Naturally, he would not use the path of others to become a Supreme God Realm. Therefore, he directly threw this book of the God Spirit into the military merit exchange system, making he the most valuable exchange item in the military merit exchange system. Then, he looked at the last two loots. There was naturally no need to mention the Will Divine Transformation Realm Heavenly Blade Will Condensation Technique. He had used this legacy as a reference to raise his will to the Will Divine Transformation Realm. Therefore, he looked directly at the last loots. Willpower Skill. Million Blades. Willpower Skill Name. Million Blades. Quality. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Willpower Skill Description. Gather the power of willpower and release 10,000 willpower blades at the enemy. If the enemy does not have a willpower protection skill, they can kill any existence below the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. A Grade 3 Supreme God Realm will technique. Moreover, it's a pure killing will skill. This is my true trump card, Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. A glint flashed across his eyes. Current will realm happened to be at the Will Divine Transformation Realm, so he could use this will skill, even though he, a newbie who had just entered the Will Divine Transformation Realm, could at most injure a Grade 1 Supreme God Realm existence with the Million Blades. It was also very impressive. This meant that even if a Supreme God Realm expert wanted to deal with him, he had the means to protect himself and even counterattack after all. Moreover, it was the kind that did not require any external items. I still have to continue to improve my willpower realm. Only when I advance to the grade 3 Supreme God realm will that be the limit of this willpower skill. At that time, just by relying on this will technique, I can make even grade 3 Supreme God realms extremely wary of me. Even a grade 4 Supreme God realm might not dare to attack me. No matter which Supreme God realm it is, they would not dare to let there will be casually injured after all. Zhou Zhou thought to himself that at the level of a grade 4 Supreme God realm, they would feel more and more that whether it was their divine body or the divine soul, there were not their natal cores. Only their own will was their true core. Their divine body and soul had been destroyed. It doesn't matter. As long as there was a will, even if it was only an incomplete will, the Supreme God realm had the possibility of revival. Just like Regal Soul Heaven.in edition, willpower was the most important core to advance to the Supreme Will realm. Therefore, a grade 4 Supreme God realm would never let his will be easily injured. Once he was injured, it would not be easy to recover. It might even affect his future advancement to the Supreme Will realm. With this concern, who would dare to easily fight Zhou Zhou, who had mastered a will technique? Thinking of this, Zhou Zhou looked at this will skill and could not help but feel very relieved. My current will realm is only at the initial will divine transformation realm. If I go all out, I can at most kill a grade 1 Supreme God realm or injure a grade 2 Supreme God realm. Then we'll have to do something else. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Then he looked at the last loots created by the Lucky Star. Treasure name: Puppet of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm. Treasure grade: Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Treasure effect: After the will acknowledges its master, it can obtain the loyalty of a Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm puppet with the strength of a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. This Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm puppet had the talent: Limitless Heavenly Blade, Talent Heart of Annihilation, Talent Blade of Extremity, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Skill, Immeasurable Saber Light, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Skill Saber, / Will, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Skill, Heavenly Destruction Tao, Heavenly Blade Will Divine Transformation Realm, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Skill Supreme, God Realm Physical Immunity, 80% Awakening, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Elemental Immunity, 70% Awakening, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Supreme, God Realm Supreme, God Realm Supreme, God Realm Supreme, God Realm Ability, Supreme God Realm Supreme God Realm Immunity, 70% Awakening. Current use of the Heavenly Blade Supreme God Realm Puppet, 1/1. Treasure description: The spoils of war from a master god tier of the Chi race. It's a treasure that has been refined under the power of luck. It can be used to protect its master or attack. What a treasure! Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up when he saw the loots. His lucky star was actually used every day, but the spoils of war produced were mostly unsatisfactory. Unexpectedly, there was a huge drop this time. He directly gave a grade 3 Supreme God Realm puppet. Even if this puppet could only be used once, he would not lose out at all. This puppet is even stronger than my willpower skill Million Blades. If I can make good use of him, it will definitely allow me to avoid a major crisis or bring me a super harvest. Zhou Zhou thought. Then he carefully put it away. Then he opened the war summary that Zero had just sent him and read it. For the entire day, the wars that happened were mainly the Founding War and the allied army of the people of foreign races that moved the universe. The prophets of the Founding War had already been mentioned, so there was naturally no need to say anything here. On the other hand, the active universe had eliminated more than 5 trillion soldiers from the capital units, more than 30 million god spirits, more than 3,000 true god tiers, and 2 master god tiers. He obtained a total of mist cores, origin, crystals, skill books, equipment, and basic materials of various levels in the capital units. There were also 1,060,206,608,784 green bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 10, 360 legendary tier and below Lord Talent spheres, a large number of Lord Talent crystal fragments of other levels, 1 Lord Talent sphere containing the 10 sacred blessings, the protection of the primordial dragons, first venerable, the only Lord Talent. There were also 3, 659, 9784, 1000 units of divine crystals from the low-tier deity level to the high-tier deity level, 463, 638, 748 true God-tier divine crystals, 56. 3,007,841 Master God-tier Divine Crystals, 3-53 trillion and 33 million low-tier to high-tier deity-level Divine Artifacts, 3 to 6 million true God-tier Divine Artifacts, 874 Master God-tier Divine Artifacts. There were a total of about 2 trillion and 10 million Divine Spark Fragments, God-tier Herbs, God-tier Ingredients, God-tier ores, God-tier blueprints, and other treasures. 54, 116, 560 Master God-tier herbs, God-tier ingredients, God-tier ores, God-tier blueprints, and other treasures. In addition, in terms of insight defection, Zhou Fight had used the 10,000 Spirit Saint to instigate a total of 5 capital units and 6563, 241, 566, 328, 965 soldiers of the 4 races, 35,297,006 God spirits, 4,693 true God tiers, and 3 people of foreign races Master God tiers. In addition, 1 Dragon Race Master God tier had taken the initiative to surrender, making a total of 4 Master Gods. In addition, in terms of the advancement of God spirits, a total of 6.1 million legendary tier advanced grade soldiers had been promoted to low-tier deity-level elementary grade God spirits. There were also 532 high-tier deity-level advanced grade God spirits who had advanced to true God-tier elementary grade God spirits. In addition, Nazario and the other 3 true God-tier advanced grades had already comprehended their Master God-tier elementary grade law skills. They only needed to enter seclusion for a day or 2, and there was a high chance that their Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom would have 3 new High God Realm experts, including these Insight Defection troops and newly advanced God Spirit powerhouses. Zhou Zhou's current military strength had already reached 31 capital units with 5986, 992, 348, 608, 289 soldiers, 99027, 760 God Spirits, 17,540 true gods, and 57 Master Gods. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly when he saw this number. He was 1 step closer to the army of the capital units. Then, he took out the 10 Sacred Blessings Lord Talent Sphere that contained the Primordial Dragon, First Venerable. He looked at the Lord Talent Sphere and a text notification appeared. Treasure name: Lord Talent Sphere 10 Sacred Blessings Primordial Dragon, First Venerable's Protection. Treasure grade: Mythical tier, Unique. Treasure effect: after absorbing it, the Lord will have the mythical tier, only Lord Talent. 10. Sacred Blessings, Protection of the Primordial Dragon, First Venerable. Treasure description: a spoil of war that could not be dropped, but was forcefully dropped under the drive of some mysterious power. The 6th 10 Sacred Blessings series Lord Talent. Zhou Zhou smiled. He was only left with the original. Master God Origin, the King of all gods. Di Huang, the Chaotic Beast God, the Heaven Curse Beast, and the Death Master God. Thanatos, the 4 Lord Talents. It was only a matter of time before he gathered all the Lord Talents of the 10 Sacred Blessings. Then, he absorbed it. Then, he successfully awakened the Primordial Dragon First Venerable's 10 Sacred Blessings series of Lord Talents. Lord Talent, 10 Sacred Blessings. Protection of the First Venerable of the Primordial Dragon. Mythical tier, Unique. Specific talent effect 1. Helu's Supreme Blessing. One of the 10 chief gods under the Supreme Will, Light Master. God. Helu has cast the Supreme Blessing on you and all your subjects. You and all the subjects under you will obtain the effect of the Dragon's Blessing. Under the effect of the Dragon's Blessing, the physical fitness, strength of your magic power, soul strength, and other comprehensive qualities of you and your subjects will greatly increase. It will also increase your Dragon Might talent. Very few talented subjects will awaken various pure-blooded dragon bloodlines. Specific talent effect 2. Heavenly Dragon Contract. You and the subjects under you can naturally be close to the subdragons and pure-blooded dragons. You can more easily form contracts with the subdragons and dragons and become companions who fight and live together. Some subjects with extremely high heavenly dragon contract talent will secretly attract the pure-blooded dragons and even legendary dragons of the myriad worlds to come to you. They will take the initiative to form a heavenly dragon contract with you and become comrades who will live and die together. Specific talent effect 3, Law of the Dragon. You and your subjects have a unique talent in the Law of the Dragon. During the cultivation process, it's easier to comprehend the Dragon Clan series of spells or even the Law of the Dragon's nomological skills. When you choose to become a god with the Law of the Dragon, you will obtain an additional 50% chance of successfully advancing. Specific talent effect 4, Master God's Protection. The development process of you and your Lord's faction will not be obstructed by other Master God level powerhouses. The first venerable of the primordial dragon will secretly protect you and your Lord's faction and stop or kill all the Master God level powerhouses who dare to come and have ill intentions. Specific talent effect 5, Protector of the Divine Kingdom. When your Lord faction advances to the beginner level Divine Kingdom, the light god Halu will automatically join your Lord faction and become a worshipped Master God loyal to you. However, you have to promise him that you will help the light god Halu advance to the supreme god realm in the future. Prompt 1. The first venerable of the primordial dragon is coming as you have established a Divine Kingdom Lord faction. Prompt. Due to your extremely high heavenly dragon contract talent, a mysterious legendary dragon is on the way to form a contract with you. Zhou Zhou looked at this mythical tier-only Lord talent carefully. When he reached the end, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. He was not surprised by the arrival of the primordial dragon first venerable. But who was that mysterious legendary dragon? There were about 50 legendary dragons. There were still more than 40 other than the legendary dragons under him. He really couldn't guess which legendary dragon would take the initiative to look for him. Then, he shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Who cares? I'll know when they come. Then, his gaze landed on the first and second effects of this mythical tier unique Lord talent. The dragon's blessing was a very powerful hexagonal talent. With this talent, the various qualities of the subjects under him would be greatly enhanced. As for the heavenly dragon's blessing, it surprised Zhou Zhou even more. He had a Divine Kingdom soldier type called the Holy Dragon Knight. The most difficult thing about nurturing a Holy Dragon Knight was to let the subjects nurture an intimate relationship with the pure-blooded dragons before signing a contract. With this heavenly dragon's blessing effect, the difficulty of the Holy Dragon Knights signing the contract would definitely be greatly reduced. At that time, the number of Holy Dragon Knights under him would increase greatly. Even most Overlord-level Lord factions are not my match with my current strength and faction. However, I lack a large number of Divine Kingdom soldier types that can be mass-produced. In the end, I'm still at a disadvantage. I have to find some trouble with the Lords of the Scarlet Divine Kingdom with Divine Kingdom soldier types recently. Only then can we use the Scarlet Broodmother to create Divine Kingdom soldier types that can be produced in batches. Zhou Zhou pondered and said, even though he had currently defeated a large number of Divine Kingdom soldier types from high-level bloodline races, they were not Scarlet Fog monsters after all. They could not be placed in the Scarlet Broodmother to mass-produce ranch monster loots, let alone create a large number of Divine Kingdom soldier type, class change certificates, and recruitment books. And what he lacked the most now were these two things. Right at that moment, a cold and respectful voice sounded beside Zhou Zhou's ear. Your Excellency, common people's regal. First venerable requests an audience. Zhou Zhou was stunned before a smile appeared on his lips. They came quite quickly. He disappeared from the world of God. The next second, he appeared directly above the blazing sun Divine Kingdom. He looked up that a towering dragon that was more than 1,000 light years tall stood in the starry sky. It was completely dark gray and had 3 dragon heads and 8 dragon claws. Each dragon claw held a Master God tier artifact. It used his dark golden dragon eyes to look down at the blazing sun Divine Kingdom. He was like the ancestor of all dragons. The moment Zhou Zhou appeared, he felt the various dragon bloodlines in his body stir. However, soon, under the suppression of the Master God Tier Advanced Grade Chaos Human Bloodline. This restlessness disappeared almost as soon as it appeared. Primordial Dragon, First Venerable. Greetings, Your Excellency Common People's Regal. First Venerable stared at Zhou Zhou and said with a rumbling voice, "At this moment, most of the citizens of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom did not realize that a Master God-tier existence had already arrived in the sky above them. Only the Master God-tier God spirits looked at the primordial dragon in the starry sky and clicked their tongues in wonder. Another 10 Master God-tier existences have come to join our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. 6 of the 10 famous Master God tiers in the myriad worlds have already joined our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. The Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom is getting stronger and stronger. Choosing to join the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom back then was indeed the right choice. Those hesitating fellows are probably regretting it now." These worshipped Master Gods of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom chatted happily with each other. Seeing that the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom was becoming stronger and stronger, and that their king had now become one of the reserve forces of the 4 lords of all races under the supreme will and had a chance of becoming the lord of all races. In the future, they all felt that the best decision in their lives was to join the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom in advance. At the thought of this, when he looked at the First Venerable again, there was more or less a hint of disdain. Oh, what if you're powerful? So what if you're one of the 10 Master God tier and your strength is ranked in the top 5? You're late. This majesty no longer lacked so-called top-notch Master God tier experts. The arrival of the current primordial dragon could at most be considered icing on the cake. It could not be in existence like the warm Master Gods. The importance of the two to Zhou Zhou was naturally incomparable. The War Master God and the other 5 Master God tiers were also in the Divine Kingdom world. They were looking at His Excellency the Primordial Dragon who had arrived at the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom through the Divine Kingdom world. This old dragon is here too. Terence smiled. This old dragon has always been very ambitious, but now it is here to seek refuge with your majesty. It seems like it has already given up on its ambitions. Top Birth was deep in thought. There's no other way. Tritus smiled. It's useless for it to persevere now that His Majesty has become the Lord of all races reserve. It'll only waste its energy. The gaze of the Supreme will is mostly on the Lord of all races reserves and other willpower level existences after all. As for other life forms, the Supreme will rarely pays attention to them. All the Master God tiers nodded. It was precisely because of this that when the Lord of the Blazing Sun became the Lord of all races reserve, they all gave up on other thoughts and decided to work together to assist the Lord of the Blazing Sun and become the true Lord of all races. Perhaps His Majesty can really gather all the Lord talents of the 10 sacred blessings. At this moment, the Light Master God tier, Hello, suddenly said, "I hope so. If it can be done, His Majesty will be pleasantly surprised." Terence smiled mysteriously. The other 4 Master God tiers also looked expectant. Obviously, they also wanted Zhou Zhou to obtain all the Lord talents of the 10 sacred blessings. At the same time, on the other side, the primordial dragon had a strong will, so it could naturally sense the subtle attitudes of the Master God tier existences in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom towards it. Didn't say anything on the surface. However, it sighed in its heart. This was how the Lord of all races competition worked. Since it lost the bet, it could only silently accept the consequences of losing the bet. There was no medicine for regret in this world. "Greetings, Your Majesty." First Venerable said respectfully. Zhou Zhou laughed when he heard that. "Welcome to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. From now on, you will temporarily be the Deputy Commander of our Divine Kingdom's Dragon God Legion." He said. As for the Legion Commander, naturally, the position belonged to Nazario. Even the First Venerable would not be considered. It was impossible to give up the position of the Legion Commander of the Dragon God Army just because it was here. What contributions had it even made before? "Thank you, Your Majesty. In the future, I will do my utmost for His Majesty." First Venerable said respectfully. There was no objection at all. Zhou Zhou nodded and returned to the Divine Kingdom world with First Venerable, who had shrunk in size. The next day, in the Reincarnation Sacred Palace, Zhou Zhou slowly opened his eyes. He sensed his body and soon a smile appeared on his face. Master God Tier Intermediate Grade Supreme Sacred Body. Done. It wasn't in vain that I spent so many Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals. Zhou Zhou sighed. The Intermediate Master God Tier Supreme Sacred Body allowed his dominance at the Master God Tier level to rise to another level. He had a certain level of self-preservation ability even in the face of an attack from a Supreme God Realm at the same time. It also meant that he was one step closer to a Supreme God Realm Supreme Sacred Body. When he had a Supreme God Realm Supreme Sacred Body, he could have a second, third, fourth, or even more Supreme God Realm Lord Talent. Then, he began to check the new mythical tier unique Lord Talent that he had awakened while cultivating the Supreme Sacred Body yesterday. After he took a look, he raised his brows slightly and revealed a dull expression. Actually, this Lord Talent, Connate Dao Body, Mythical Tier, Unique, Connate Dao Body. Cultivate the Constitution type, Lord Talent. You and your subject have the Connate Dao Body. When cultivating martial arts, elemental meditation, and other cultivation actions, the efficiency of absorbing promotion energy will increase by 10,000%. At the same time, your comprehension will increase by 10 times. Even if you and your subjects did not cultivate, the promotion energy in the world would automatically fuse into your body and accelerate your strength realm. When you and your subjects are undergoing cultivation breakthroughs, the probability of success will increase by 30%. You and your subjects have 10 times the magic power slash spiritual power slash divine power in your bodies compared to life forms of the same level. The above effects will last until the Master God Tier advance. Great. Connate Dao Body Lord Talent. It came from the Diamond Tier Lord Talent, Spirit Body 6 that Zhou Zhou already had. The content of the two was not much different. They were mainly used to increase one's cultivation talent. However, the Diamond Tier Lord Talent previously had a 40x cultivation efficiency bonus. Now that he had become a Mythical Tier Unique Lord Talent, his cultivation efficiency had increased by 100 times. In addition, the Connate Dao Body of the Mythical Tier, the only Lord Talent, had 3 additional effects. Point 1 was a tenfold increase in basic comprehension. The second was to increase the probability of breaking through by 30%. The third was to increase the energy in his body by 10 times. They were all extremely shocking bonuses, but most of the breakthroughs of my soldiers now rely on War Master God Terrence's Mythical Tier Unique Lord Talent, who still meditates to improve their cultivation. Zhou Zhou shook his head. It was precisely because of this that he felt that this Lord Talent was somewhat useless. Forget it. At least I have other abilities. This Mythical Tier 1 and only Lord Talent was not too bad. Then, he flew out of the Reincarnation Sacred Palace and came to Mu Jiyu at this moment. Wu Xian had already led his soldiers to deal with the Scarlet Broodmother's monster. He was chatting with Mu Gu while waiting for Zhou Zhou. When he saw His Majesty arrive, he immediately said respectfully, "Greetings, Your Majesty. I've already finished dealing with all the nest monsters. These are all the spoils of war." With that said, he handed the 3 world rings to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou took it and entered it with his divine consciousness. Point 1 of the world rings contained a huge number of iron-eating bear pet eggs, tree core gems, and other loots. Among the other 2 world rings, one of them contained 8 capital units, Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier recruitment books, and 8 capital units, Violent Storm Spirit recruitment books. The other world ring contained 8 capital units, Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier class change certificate, and 8 capital units, Violent Storm Spirit class change certificate. When Zhou Zhou saw these recruitment books and class change certificates, a smile appeared on his face. Even though he was mentally prepared, he couldn't help but feel happy when he saw so many recruitment books and class change certificates. This was a total of 32 capital units recruitment books and class change certificates. He only had 31 capital unit soldiers under his command. This time, the Scarlet Broodmother's gains doubled his overall military strength. The Scarlet Broodmother is so terrifying. He lamented inwardly. Then, he looked up at Wu Exine and handed him the world ring containing the class change certificate. Legion Commander Wu. As usual, you should find a reserve recruit to change your occupation. This emperor will go to the gate of summoning to recruit new recruits. He said, Yes, Your Grace. Wu Xin said respectfully. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, he turned around and flew towards the gate of summoning. Before the gate of summoning, Zhou Zhou threw all 16 capital units recruitment books into the gate of summoning. Then, he asked Zero to fly over a Cosmos Emperor. He spent 100 true God-tier elementary grade divine crystals and threw all 16 capital units recruitment books into the gate of summoning. The next second, the virtual projection showed that all the new recruits had already appeared in Cosmos Emperors. Internal world. Welcome to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. From now on, all of you are this Emperor's soldiers and subjects of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Zhou Zhou said a few simple words to all the new recruits, then asked Zero to lead the violent storm spirit soldiers to change their profession to forbidden mages. Then, Zhou Zhou spent another 100 true God-tier elementary grade divine crystals to summon today's subjects. In the end, he realized that he had summoned 200 million new subjects. He summoned more than 8 million subjects than usual. Moreover, among these new subjects, there were also 13 true God-tier elementary grade God spirits summoned by the glory of the Pioneer 12. Zhou Zhou had been looking forward to this day. However, when this day really came, he realized that even though he was happy, he didn't have much of a psychological reaction. That's true. He no longer lacked true gods. The number of true gods under him was almost close to 100 million. Even he didn't lack master god tiers anymore. Under such circumstances, how could he be too excited by the appearance of 13 true god-tier elementary grade god spirits? Much better than I used to be, Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Then, he didn't think too much about it. According to the old rules, these new subjects and new god spirits were added to the Homeland Defense Army by the officials. They weren't placed in the main combat army. Then, he wanted to summon today's dragons. But he quickly discovered something. The original Dragon Abyss had not leveled up yet. It was still a high-tier deity level advanced grade. After advancing to the Divine Kingdom, I forgot to advance the original Dragon Abyss. After Zhou Zhou came back to his senses, he could not help but say awkwardly. Then, he didn't think too much about it. He directly spent 400 capital units of basic materials, 10,000 true god-tier elementary crystals, and 100 million high-grade elemental gems to upgrade the original Dragon Abyss from a high-tier deity-level advanced grade to a true god-tier elementary grade. Then, he looked at the attribute information of the original Dragon Abyss, which was a true god-tier elementary grade. Building name: Original Dragon Abyss. Construction level: True god-tier elementary grade. Construction effect: you can summon 6 billion white silver tier advanced grade pure-blooded dragons, 600 million. Yellow gold tier advanced grade pure-blooded dragons, 60 million white platinum tier intermediate grade pure-blooded dragons every day from the original Dragon Abyss. 6 true god tier elementary grade dragon gods will become subjects under the Lord and have a 12% chance of summoning legendary dragons. Construction upgrade: wood 500 capital units, sand 500 capital units, metal 500 capital units, stone 500 capital units, 10,000 true god-tier intermediate grade divine crystals, 500 million advanced elemental gems, territory upgraded to a divine kingdom intermediate grade lord faction, and has 5 master god-tier dragons as offerings. After reading it, Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. The original Dragon Abyss, which had advanced to true god-tier elementary grade, could summon 66,666,660 pure-blooded dragons. Among them, there were 6,660,000 ordinary god spirit dragons and 6,660 true god-tier dragons. The number of pure-blooded dragons summoned was almost the same as that of high-tier deity-level advanced grades. However, the minimum summoning limit for high-tier deity-level advanced grades in the original Dragon Abyss was 60 billion white platinum tier advanced grade pure-blooded dragons. The lower limit for summoning true God-tier elementary grade was 60 billion. Diamond-tier elementary grades. The latter was naturally much better than the former. Furthermore, the probability of he summoning a legendary dragon had increased from 12% to 15%. It could be said to be a huge improvement. As for the upgrade requirements, they were easily met. The other conditions could be met by him now. Only one Divine Kingdom Lord faction that had upgraded their territory to intermediate grade was still not satisfied. This was not difficult for Zhou Zhou. Then, he didn't waste any time and directly spent 100 true God-tier elementary grade divine crystals to activate the dragon summoning. Soon, 66,666,660 pure-blooded dragons appeared in the internal world of Cosmos Emperor that he had just called over. He roughly took a look at the situation of these pure-blooded dragons. Then, his eyes lit up. In the middle of the 60 billion pure-blooded dragons, there was a purple towering dragon. He had a crown-shaped dragon horn on his head, as though he was wearing a crown. He had dreamy purple dragon skin and 16 wings that covered the sky. He had an extremely noble and rebellious aura. Surprisingly, he was surrounded by a towering purple sun. This majestic purple sun was the size of an entire boundless universe. Its surface burned with a scorching dark purple flame. It looked mysterious, dignified, and evil. It was the legendary star-devouring demonic dragon. Back then, he had used a drop of the blood of a low-level master god-tier star-devouring dragon god to transform into the star-devouring dragon god and eliminate Uriel of the Titan gods. As for the star-devouring dragon clan, including the star-devouring dragon god, they were actually the descendants of this star-devouring demon dragon. I can't believe he summoned this one. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. This legendary dragon who resounded in the myriad worlds in the name of the demon dragon was almost second only to the regal dragon and the primordial dragon. With he around, the combat power of the dragon god army under he would be much stronger. Then, he chatted with the star-devouring demon dragon for a while before incorporating he and the other pure-blooded dragons into the dragon god army. Then, he didn't care much and went straight to the Lord shop. However, what disappointed Zhou Zhou was that the items in the Lord shop today were still ordinary 3 Master God tier items. How could Zhou Zhou, who already had 81 Supreme God, Realm Divine artifacts, still be interested? However, he still spent millions of Master God-tier divine crystals to buy these goods. Just treat it as satisfying his obsessive-compulsive disorder. Right at that moment, boom, boom. 3 consecutive familiar explosions, accompanied by incomparable divine might fluctuations, came from the direction of the Reincarnation Sacred Palace and spread to the myriad worlds at an astonishing speed. Shortly after, a pillar of light that emitted a dark purple light and a terrifying abyssal aura soared into the sky and shot straight into the starry sky. In an instant, the scene in the starry sky changed, and the scene of the abyss appeared faintly. A huge eye of the abyss stood at the bottom of the abyss. The next second, he suddenly opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the Reincarnation Sacred Palace. Then, a look of satisfaction appeared in his eyes before he slowly closed his eyes again. Then, another dazzling golden pillar of light and another aqua blue pillar of light shot into the sky, similarly illuminating the starry sky and revealing their respective unique phenomena. Even though it was much weaker than the previous abyssal pillar of light, it was still extraordinary. When the gods of the myriad worlds saw this scene and looked at the source of the 3 pillars of light, they were almost numb. The blazing sun divine kingdom again. Furthermore, 3 new Master God tiers had been born in one go. Could it be that the blazing sun divine kingdom was blessed by the supreme will? Could it be that it was especially easy for true God tier advanced grade God spirits to become master gods? At the same time, in front of the Lord shop, a smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face as he looked at the phenomenon of these 3 Master God tiers advancing. I can't believe it took him only a day to get promoted. Fast enough. He chuckled. Right at that moment, Bai Yun, Qi Xiantian, Yuan Song, Ing Ning, Terrence, Helu, Top Earth, Zero, Tritus, All the worshipped master gods of the blazing sun divine kingdom flew out of the divine kingdom world one after another. They looked at the god-lord phenomenon in the starry sky in surprise. 3 master gods were born at the same time? My goodness, giving birth to 3 master gods in a day. Is this the charm of the blazing sun divine kingdom? Our blazing sun divine kingdom is getting stronger and stronger. The master gods discussed fervently. They were all very excited. This discovery that they had joined an organization with a promising future indeed made them excited. I feel strongly that His Majesty will be our hope to advance to the supreme God realm in the future. Top Birth, the wisdom master god, suddenly said. Terence did not even turn his head as he quietly watched Zhou Zhou's figure. I've always felt that way. He smiled. Soon, 3 figures flew over from afar and arrived in front of him. They were Nazario, Feng Luo, and another newly promoted master god of the radiant angel race. Dragon god of the abyss, Nazario, greets your majesty. Heavenly saber, martial lord Feng Luo greets your majesty. Radiant god lord, Miriam greets your majesty. The 3 new master gods said respectfully at the same time. There was gratitude in their eyes. They all understood that the reason why they could have everything they had today was because of this great man in front of them. Okay. Zhou Zhou smiled and waved his right hand. 3 world rings appeared in front of them. You've just become master gods, but I don't have any gifts for you. I'll give you 1 master god tier divine artifact that belongs to you, and allow you to use up to 5 master god tier elementary grade divine artifacts. Thank you for the reward, Your Majesty. Thank you, Your Majesty. Then, they immediately took the world rings in front of them and entered them with their divine senses. Then, they saw a total of 6 Master God elementary grade divine artifacts floating quietly in the center of the world rings, emitting vast nomological divine might. Even though Nazario and the others were already mentally prepared, they could not help but feel excited when they saw this scene. This was a total of 6 Master God tier elementary grade divine artifacts. Moreover, from the looks of it, it was a Master Divine artifact that was completely compatible with their nomological path. The value of this item had risen by another level. Even a top-notch bloodline race like the original Spirit race would find it extremely difficult to find such a set of Master God-tier divine artifacts that were extremely compatible with them. However, His Majesty had so easily bestowed it upon them. How could they not be excited and touched? Zhou Zhou looked at their grateful expressions and smiled without saying anything. In other words, there was no higher level of faith than Holy Spirit tier believers. Otherwise, he would be able to sense that his faith would rise to a higher level. The number of master gods under him also reached the level of 60 with these 3 master gods. Then, he began to think of something else. The Supreme will give me 3 days before heading to the ultimate void battleground. In these 3 days, I'll try my best to suppress the chaotic divine demons and obtain enough chaotic divine treasures, Zhou Zhou thought. Then, he looked in Bai Yun's direction. Bai Yun, gather the army. Prepare to head to the Chaos Sea to suppress the chaotic divine demons and obtain the chaotic divine treasure. He ordered it. Yes, Your Majesty, Bai Yun said respectfully. Then, she immediately went to gather her men. A moment later, the army was assembled. After joining today's new recruits and dragons, Bai Yun brought 63 capital units. 598,715,268,289 soldiers, 99,027,760 god spirits, 24,200 true gods, and 60 master gods to the inner world of the eternal mothership. This time, he didn't hide it anymore and directly led all the troops there. The Chaos Gods race was one of the 3 top-notch races after all. The Chaos Sea was also their old territory that they had operated for many years. Even Zhou Zhou, whose strength had increased greatly, did not dare to not give it his all. Zhou Zhou and the others did not waste any time. They immediately headed to the Chaos Sea after gathering all the soldiers and god spirits. His main body remained steady and did not go. He was still led by Zhou Fight and Zhou Wu. The Chaos Sea was located at the edge of the supreme great cosmos. It was one of the furthest places from the supreme great cosmos. Even if the eternal mothership drove at full speed, and with the help of the master god tiers, it would still take half a day to reach the Chaos Sea. Fortunately, the Chaos Ruins, which was extremely close to the Chaos Sea, was where the Chaos humans used to live. It was now the territory of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Zhou Fight only needed to use Gospel of Homecoming once, and they would immediately cross a long distance and teleport into the Primal Chaos Ruins. Then, after silently dodging the Master God tier of the Chaos Gods guarding the Primal Chaos Ruins, they headed all the way to the Chaos Sea. Half an hour later, in the Chaos Sea, the moment Zhou Fight and company arrived, Zhou Fight, Ing Ning, and the other Chaos humans felt a sense of comfort and freedom that came from the depths of their bodies. It was as if this was their home. In fact, this was indeed the Chaos humans' hometown. The increase in cultivation efficiency of the Chaos human bloodline here is probably not much inferior to the increase in cultivation efficiency of the Khanate Dao body. When Zhou Fight realized this, he could not help but click his tongue. He was also a little tempted. This was simply a sacred cultivation ground for the Chaos humans. It was no wonder that the Chaos humans still could not forget about this place. After so many years, this was not only the Chaos humans' hometown, but it was also a weapon for the Chaos humans to rise. Look at it the other way around. This was probably the same for the Chaos Gods race. Your Majesty, where do we go? From here. At this moment, Bai Yun came over and asked, "You'll have to ask our old friend." Zhou Fight chuckled. Then, with a flip of his right hand, he saw the Bodhi Supreme lying quietly in his hand. A chance to answer a formal question. Bodhi Supreme said lazily before Zhou Fight could ask a question. "So expensive?" Zhou Fight clicked his tongue and asked suspiciously, "I'm just asking for the location of the chaotic divine demons. It's a creature with a chaos treasure at stake. How can it not be expensive? Furthermore, not only will I tell you the location of the chaotic divine demons, I will also tell you a sealing technique that I created myself. It will prevent the chaotic divine demons from opening the door of the divine demon realm to escape when they want to escape. How about that? Don't you think it's a loss now? Besides, with your current accumulation, it shouldn't be a problem for you to save up 2 or 3 formal questions every day, right?" The Bodhi Supreme commented. "All right." Zhou Fight nodded reluctantly, agreeing to its deal. If it was the location and sealing technique, it was indeed not a loss. Moreover, the Bodhi Supreme was right. Now that it had conquered all the major races, the racial heritage it had obtained could no longer be described with numbers. If he used the foundation of these races to exchange for the opportunity to answer the Bodhi Supreme's official questions, not to mention 2 or 3 a day, it would not be a problem to exchange for 4 or 5 a day. The Chaos Sea was extremely vast. He would probably not be able to complete the Chaos Sea even if he spent 20 days if he searched aimlessly. He didn't want to waste his precious time on meaningless searches. The simplest and most direct way to ask, "Bodhi Supreme, then help me calculate now. Where are the chaotic divine demons in the Chaos Sea?" Zhou Fight asked. "Okay, but just so you know, in order to prevent chaotic divine demons from wandering outside and causing unnecessary casualties, the Emperor of the chaotic divine demons is extremely strict with the management of the divine demon realm. Other than a few chaotic divine demons who are good at breaking through realms, most of them find it difficult to leave the divine demon realm. Therefore, after searching the entire primal chaos ruins, there might be a situation where not even a chaotic divine demons would appear. When the time comes, don't tell me I took your knowledge for nothing." Bodhi Supreme said. Zhou Fight frowned slightly but still nodded. When Bodhi Supreme saw this, it immediately began to search the entire chaos sea. A layer of faint black fluctuations instantly spread in all directions with Bodhi Supreme as the center. Before Zhou Fight could react, this fluctuation had already exceeded his field of vision. Actually, Bai Yun and the other Master God tier could not see this fluctuation at all. Only Zhou Fight, who was a Lord God spirit, could barely sense the existence of this fluctuation. He looked at the direction of the fluctuation and was secretly alarmed. Not only could this Bodhi Supreme answer billions of questions, But his ability was also not simple that it was almost as difficult as investigating. The entire supreme great cosmos. This was at least a supreme god realm ability, right? Or even higher. Bodhi Supreme was indeed extraordinary. That was true. How could an existence who could follow the supreme will and even communicate with it at any time be simple? Bodhi Supreme. What the hell are you? Zhou Zhou could not help but ask. I'll let you know when you can know about it. Bodhi Supreme was still the same as before. Zhou Fight did not probe further even though he felt helpless. Soon, the Bodhi Supreme said in surprise, "You're very lucky today. There are actually 2 chaotic divine demons wandering in the Chaos Sea. I've passed the location to 0. After saying that, the Bodhi Supreme stopped talking to AT the same time. 0 also pulled out the map that Bodhi Supreme had passed to it and projected it in front of Zhou Fight and the generals. They realized that one of the 2 chaotic divine demons was very close to them. They should be able to arrive in less than half an hour. The other chaotic divine demon was relatively far away, but with the speed of the eternal mothership, they should be able to arrive in 4 to 5 hours. 0. Immediately head to where the 2 chaotic divine demons are. Zhou Fight immediately ordered, "Yes, Your Majesty." 0 said respectfully. Then, it immediately steered the eternal mothership towards the nearest chaotic divine demons. A quarter of an hour later, the eternal mothership stopped at a region with extremely dense chaotic airflow. Due to the extremely high quality of the chaotic airflow, it even produced chaotic divine lightning during the friction. These chaotic divine lightning rumbled in the dense chaotic airflow. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, making this place seem like a supreme danger. The onlookers were secretly shocked. Perhaps only true god and higher-level god spirits could walk freely in this realm if an ordinary god spirit below the true god tier dared to come here. Any chaotic divine lightning would probably shatter their soul immediately. There was no chance of survival. As for Zhou Fight and the other members of the Chaos Gods race, the smile on their faces became even more obvious. This was because they could sense that this chaotic airflow and the realm densely covered in chaotic divine lightning were extremely beneficial to their cultivation. Nice place. It's a good place for the chaos humans to live. As the patriarch of the chaos, Haze of Chaos even thought of this at this moment. Then, his expression darkened. This place had already become the territory of the chaos beasts. Was what he was thinking delusional? He could not help but look at the figure at the front. I wonder when His Majesty will lead us to counterattack the chaos beasts and take back our territory. He thought longingly. He could sense it that it's not too far away. Is that the chaotic divine demon? A yellow gold sacred dragon master god tier pointed at a figure in the distance and said. The generals immediately looked over and saw a towering, grayish-black beast with 6 eyes, 12 arms, and 6 heads floating in the chaotic airflow. Its eyes were closed. Chaotic air currents and chaotic divine thunder were quietly absorbed by it during the process of flowing through its divine body, causing its master god, tier advanced grade aura, to become stronger. Right at that moment, its 6 heads opened their mouths. Immediately after, 6 chaos divine sparks surrounded by chaotic divine lightning flew out of its mouth and circled above its head, absorbing the surrounding chaotic divine lightning and chaotic airflow. It didn't notice the god spirits on the Eternal Mothership who were observing not far away at all. The Eternal Mothership was equipped with the supreme god realm treasure, the skin of Garlos. Even a level 1 or 2 supreme god realm might not be able to discover the Eternal Mothership, not to mention a master god tier advanced grade chaos demon god. In a while, this emperor will take the initiative to contact the other party and get him to deliver the chaos divine treasure. If the other party doesn't give us a chaos divine treasure, then we'll conquer the other party. Zhou Fight ordered. There were no other spoils of war after killing these chaotic divine demons that could be revived, other than the chaos divine treasure. They did not even provide any promotional energy. Zhou Fight could not be bothered to deal with the other party if it could be solved peacefully. It was better to solve it peacefully. Most. He would give the other party some benefits. He wasn't lacking in these benefits anyway. Yes, Your Majesty. The Master Gods immediately said respectfully. Zhou Fight nodded and followed Bodhi Supreme's instructions. He formed hand seals with both hands and chanted as the hand seals continued to advance. A boundless universe-level chaos array silently appeared within a radius of 10 million light-years of this chaotic divine demons that at. The last second, boom. The entire primal chaos space shook slightly. This nameless array created by the Bodhi Supreme had officially taken shape. The moment the formation was formed, the chaotic divine demon, who was cultivating with its eyes closed, suddenly opened its eyes. Chaotic divine lightning flickered in his 6 pairs of chaotic eyes that it looked around in surprise. Then, it sensed the surroundings again, and its expression immediately turned ugly. It could not open the door to return to the world of gods and devils. Who is it? You have the guts to lock me up, but you don't have the guts to appear in front of me. The chaotic divine demon's voice rumbled like thunder. Unfortunately, even though its voice was loud, it was immediately stopped the moment it reached the edge of the nameless array. The outside world could not hear its roar at all. Your Excellency, what do I address you as? Zhou Fight's figure appeared not far from it. This emperor is here to discuss a deal with you. I am the chaotic divine demons of the divine lightning, Zhun. Who are you? Zhun looked at him, warily, sensing an extremely terrifying threat from the other party.